Welcome back, God's 4-in-1. I'm Kim.
And my name is Jim. Today we are going to talk about one of the things that scares Christians most, and that is the rapture. On our YouTube page, we put out a question to all of our fans, and we asked you what scares you the most about the rapture.
Yeah.
And among some of your responses, some of the most popular ones that were liked the most were, I'm not afraid of the rapture, but scared of losing loved ones and family to hell. We're going to touch that. And the other one that was the most popular was the unknown factor. When, how, will I be ready?
Right.
Will I accomplish all that I was supposed to? And will I see my family again?
Yeah.
And we will answer that one.
Plus a couple more.
Yes, plus a couple good ones, yeah.
I mean, this is a good subject.
It is a good subject. Well, let's touch really quick on what the rapture is for some of you that might be kind of unfamiliar with the term. When we talk about the rapture, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, for Christians and all of us who've been living a life that's dedicated to Jesus and trying our hardest and to do our best and going through all these sufferings and trials, this is the end,
Yeah.
but it's the beginning of the end, right?
Well, yeah, the beginning of the beginning.
The beginning of the beginning. I mean, it's a good
it's a
thing.
good
So for us to be afraid of this, I think that you have the wrong concept of what the rapture is.
I think, you always see the movies where everybody just disappears, everybody's freaking out, and, it's just like death and doom.
Yeah, cars crashing, planes falling from the sky, which
on Earth.
right will happen, but we won't be here, which is a good thing, right?
It's a good thing. Yeah.
We did a really kind of cute skit in one of our videos about the rapture, which is worth watching. It's pretty fun. We had a lot of fun with it, right?
Yeah.
So we will include the link up at the top above Kim.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a verse for this one, which is in that 2 Thessalonians 2, 1-2. Now concerning the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and our being gathered together to him, we ask you, brothers, not to be quickly shaken in mind or alarmed, either by a spirit or a spoken word.
Yeah, so this is Paul.
Yeah,
and Paul's
it's okay.
He's saying it's okay. You guys shouldn't be alarmed. I mean, you shouldn't get all stressed out when people talk about the rapture. This is a good thing. It's coming, whether you're ready or not, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
We're gonna. Now let's go over some of our fears about the rapture. Number one, the unknown factor. Will I or you be ready?
This is a big one.
This is a big one.
This is the critical one. And why is this so critical, I think, is because, nobody knows when this is going to happen.
Right.
So, and the Bible tells us this in Mark 13:32. But of that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but the Father alone. So only God knows.
Right. So to me, if a person asks, will I be ready? I mean, it's kind of like you are or you aren't.
Yeah.
Right? There's no in between. And I don't know if a person asks, will I be ready? I don't know if they're making an effort to be ready. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah,
Because the Bible talks about the rapture or the coming of Jesus like a thief in the night. I mean, nobody knows when your house, will be robbed. Yeah. But think about if you did know that on January 21st, a thief is going to come and try to rob me.
Right.
I mean, if you knew that, what would you do to be ready? I mean, you might buy a dog, you might buy an alarm system, you might stay up all night, you might leave the lights on, you would do everything you could to be ready. Mm-hmm. So that to me, the same is true of the rapture. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we need to be ready.
Yeah.
So how do we be ready?
Exactly. That's what we need to
No,
talk
I'm
about.
asking you. So how do we be ready?
You know what? We have to accept Jesus Christ as our personal Savior.
Right.
Once you start that and you've committed your life to Christ, and you've surrendered your all, then everything else just falls into place, and you begin to have that faith that it's okay. I'm going in the rapture. I'll be fine. You build that relationship with God, and you become more and more secure in your salvation. What's going to happen?
Right. I think you do need to be proactive, though. I mean, I think, yes, you need to accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, but I believe a lot of Christians do that part of it, and they don't do anything else.
Right.
So number 2, people are afraid that they're going to go through the tribulation.
Right.
Now, the tribulation is a 7-year period where the Antichrist rises, the mark of the beast happens. I mean, a lot of bad things, which a lot of Christians and I mean, I'm not scared of it. I would prefer not to go through it because it's going to be a very, very tough time if you're a Christian. We did a great video on the mark of the beast. If you guys are interested in watching, it's worth your time to watch. It's a lot of good information, and we will put the link right above Kim.
Yeah.
There are 3 concepts of when Christ will return in regard to the tribulation. So a lot of people believe pre-trib, that he'll return before the tribulation. There's a view of mid-trib, which he'll return in the middle of the tribulation, or post-tribulation, he'll return after all this has happened. The Bible is not clear on this. I mean, everybody has their own views, and we would like to know your views on this. So when do you think Christ will return?
So we tend to believe in pre-trib because we believe that the rapture will happen and then tribulation will start.
Right.
There's a verse in the Bible that we refer to when we're talking about this. This is Revelation 3:10. Because you have kept my word about patience and patient endurance, I will keep you from the hour of trial that is coming on the whole world to try those who dwell on the earth.
You know, and the other thing too is I guess the whole theme of this video would be, yes, there are things that people are scared of, but they don't need to be scared of, because, I mean, why worry about something you can't control? And all of this really is beyond our control.
Yeah.
Number 3 is people are afraid, not basically of the rapture, but they're afraid of losing their loved ones and their family that go to hell. So what would you say to the people that are afraid of this?
I would say that you need to have you let your loved ones know that Jesus is in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, by being a good example, by just spreading a little chunks here and there, you know, so that you're not like attacking them or anything like that, but for them to hear the word.
Yeah. You need to be proactive. I mean, if you are seriously worried about this, you need to be proactive. I mean, don't go your whole life and you're afraid for them and you're worried for them, but you've never made any effort for them to get to know Jesus, and then the worst happens and you're gone and they're stuck on earth.
You know, a lot of times I have a lot of family members and friends that do not believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I've tried to talk to them. But, you know, my biggest thing is that I'm an example first.
Yeah.
I try to be the light of Jesus first before I pounce on him and say, Jesus, Jesus. You know, and then as we've gone along in life, I've mentioned, you know, praise Jesus for this, or I'm blessed about this, just little stuff here and there. And either they'll ask questions or they won't, but that's not up to me.
Right.
I've planted the seed,
Right.
I've told them what I know, and then God's got to do the rest. They've got to accept it or reject it.
And the other positive note is, say that the rapture does happen and they miss it, they will be given one more. It's not the end. I mean, if you miss the rapture, this is not the end.
Yeah.
You know, this is a reward to me for everybody that's still alive that has been very faithful and gone through the sufferings and the trials and lived their life to Jesus. But they will have a second chance.
Yeah.
Now, it's not going to be pretty.
Right.
You know, I mean,
it's
going to be very hard for them, but they are given a second chance. And you know, oh, were you going to say something?
Okay.
No, you know, if you're really concerned and the rapture happens, it is going to be absolute chaos.
Yeah.
I might leave a letter. Were you going to say that? we're so alike. Do you really? Yeah, I was going to say make a video, leave a letter, and just, you know, put it in your house or give it to them and you know, so then explain to them and tell them what to do. This is what happened.
If I'm gone.
Yeah, if I'm gone, the world's in chaos, millions of people are missing. This is what happened, and explain to them. Leave them a Bible. Tell them what verses to read. You know, and explain. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing you could. It's almost like a will. You know, I'm gone, but here's what you need to do.
Yeah.
That's so funny that you're going to say the same thing.
I let you go first.
Number 4, people are afraid of not accomplishing their dreams and aspirations on earth before Jesus comes. And I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, I read it and I'm like, I mean, what do you think?
Well, to me, it just tells me that that person is afraid to die.
Okay.
So I feel like you just are trying to live out the known because you're afraid of the unknown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of had 2 thoughts that I guess I was trying to reflect on this. Is that, well, one, if your dreams are all about you, okay, and what I want to do and me, and it to me, it almost, the question kind of sounds kind of selfish. Everything that you do here on earth, and if it's not associated with God or you know, it's got God driven, or you're not doing it for God, really doesn't carry forward. Right. So if your dream is to make $1 million and you die, okay, you know, you know, it doesn't go forward in your life. So I would almost say that I would hope that your dreams and what you want to accomplish, God is in the mix in that. So that whatever you do here on earth, you're rewarded for in heaven.
Yeah. In closing, we would like to tell you this verse because a lot of people aren't afraid of the rapture.
Yeah.
And if they want this rapture to come quickly, this is what God tells us. Matthew 24:14. This gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all the nations, and then the end will come.
This is kind of how God's 401 was created. We wanted to share the gospel to the world, and not that we want the end to come, but we want as many people to hear the gospel. And what this verse is saying is that since God is the only one that knows the final timeline, when God is satisfied that everybody has been given the chance to hear the gospel or reject the gospel, he will get up off his throne and go to Jesus and say, now's the time, you can go. And Jesus will go, okay, let's go everybody, you know, and they'll come down and then the rapture will be there. What we like to do on our videos is to take a look at last week's videos and highlight some of our fans' comments. And last week's video was, are you abusing the time that God gives you? And this was a video where we just kind of took a look at, okay, so God gives you so many, what was it, 14,000?
140 minutes a day.
Right. So we were saying, okay, so he gives you this. Are you giving anything back to him? And we just gave you some tips of how maybe you can use your downtime to spend more time with Jesus. And these are some of our fans' questions or comments.
All right, so big action, Papa.
Hey, big action.
Pray in the bathroom.
Great place.
You know, I mean, and we talked about it.
We talked about it.
And it's so funny that you say that because I feel bad because I feel like I'm being disrespectful because I'm going to the bathroom, you know?
Really?
But
it's a natural function.
I'm slowly trying to do it a little bit and I'm like, excuse me, God.
We won't get, that's a little too much information, okay? We won't go in. But if you're using the bathroom, one of my suggestions you can read a chapter of the Bible in probably 3 minutes, and you probably spend longer than that going to the bathroom, right?
You can read it on your phone.
Right, yeah, all those apps are great.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Big Action. All right, this is from Wanda. Yes, I have downtime, especially the weekends. Great advice. Driving, I do listen to Greg Laurie Harvest Ministries, which is a great idea too, is to listen to ministries on the radio.
You probably just take a look at how much you drive.
Yeah.
From to and from work, in traffic, stuck in traffic. CDs, podcasts.
And when you're driving and you're like, get frustrated and stuff, if you have that Christian on there, it just calms you down, All right, thank you, Wanda. And 80s girl, George Megan, 2005. The word abusing seems too harsh of a word.
In the title we put abusing.
Yeah.
And I just think that kind of in our culture, we need to take God more seriously.
Yeah.
And I believe that you could use maybe a more watered down word.
Yeah.
But
stop forgetting.
Well, or abuse. I forget. She made a suggestion. I forget what it was. But what do you think?
Well, I agree.
With progressive Christianity
and God too much, and I think we need to be a little bit more in your face with God, because He needs to be your priority. It needs to be offensive, so that you take it to heart and say, you know what, you're right. I owe Him so much, and I'm not doing anything.
Right.
So thank you, 80s girl and George Megan. I'm assuming those are two different people.
I think that's one person.
Maybe. Is it one person?
It's one person,
Well, thank you. That's a long name.
Yeah, I know.
All right, guys, thanks for stopping by. We hope that this helped ease your stress a little bit. What do I say? Your worries.
Don't worry about things that are not in your control.
Yeah. Make sure you're ready. That's all you can do. And then go out and spread the word.
Spread the word.
Spread the word.
You ready? Spread the word.
All right, guys, have a great day. Be safe. And remember to like and share if you enjoyed us. And we will see you in the next video.
Bye.